to the pop culture cosmos.
And we're back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from the Pop Culture Cosmos, PCC Multiverse, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone out there going ahead and supporting all of our shows, and to all the great radio stations out there that cover us on the Pop Culture Cosmos. A big howdy doody. How you doing out there? Also, as well, of course, if you could go ahead and support us any which way you can by starting off with, of course, a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, if you could like, share, subscribe today to the Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanity Media, all the great things that Josh and I do, including the Happy Hoarder and more. Go ahead and help us out. It is truly, truly appreciated. And anything that you can do for us is a welcome sight indeed, because we are doing a lot of good things for you in the background in the near future right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my good friend indeed. It is the evil mastermind himself of Humanity Media, the Happy Hoarder, and more. Plus, he is taking a ragtag team of esports great future Hall of Famers into the big wide world of esports, and just I see championships and glory and fame and sponsorships in the near future. It is my good friend. It is Josh Peterson. What's up, Matt?
Keeping our fingers crossed, right? That'd be great to come home to an esports cup of some kind. I gotta ask, man, did you watch Frankenstein?
I've not watched it yet. It is on my Netflix queue, among other things. I hear somewhat positive to very positive things about it. As far as I've seen a lot of footage from it. I know that there's some issues with the way the story goes, but as I know a Benicio del Toro fanatic that you are, I know you have much to say on the subject.
Yes, Guillermo. I know I get Benicio and Guillermo mixed. Benicio
Del Toro is the one that makes movies, Guillermo.
and
Benicio
Benicio
is the
acts
one
in
is
movies. Yeah, you said
movies.
Benicio, so I was getting confused. I'm like, wait, did he direct this movie? I thought it was Guillermo.
Guillermo's the one that that directs them. Benicio's the one that acts.
Yeah, okay. No, I love, I mean, I love Guillermo del Toro. I love everything. I love pretty much everything he does. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a good movie. They're all visually pleasing, right? And I talk about my color palettes. He does a good job of like contrasting colors. Like in Frankenstein, a lot of reds going up against like the pale blues and the grays. Those guys. He did the same thing in what's that movie, Crimson Peak, with Tom Hiddleston.
Yes.
So this one, this is interesting. So you can watch it from with two schools of thought in mind, right? The people who are looking for an adaptation of the book are going to hate it because it takes everything that is good about the book and just completely, rips it to shreds. If you watch it from a movie standpoint, you're like, who is Mary Shelley? Then you'll probably like the movie a lot. So I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh, this like looks cool, but honestly, I feel like it's blasphemy, sitting here watching just how much this is not based on the book. So I'm torn, man. I'm torn. Like as a film enthusiast, it's okay. But as an enthusiast of the book, because I teach the book to my kids every year, and I was like really hoping to have like a faithful adaptation that I could show during class. But this is definitely not that. So as a fan of the book, I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, man, I don't like this. Nothing about this is really based on the book except for just the names being used.
Absolutely. And that's kind of surprising because, this was supposed to be a more faithful, at least I was led to believe this would be a more faithful adaptation to, the original source material, but seemingly that's not the case, Josh.
Yeah, so here I took some notes as I was watching this so that I could talk about this a little bit more. Like hold on, let me get them out here. So here's a few of the differences, right? We have, the creature shows up in the beginning of the book and tries and attacks the boat before Victor even tells the story. You have the mom's backstory is completely erased. The dad hates the son, and that is absolutely does not happen in the book. Victor has one leg. The mom dies in childbirth. I'm sorry, I'm spoiling this for a lot of people, but like it's and Elizabeth is like the Victor's fiance, but in the movie, Elizabeth is the brother's fiance. So it's got a lot of like I don't know, man. It's got a lot of things in it that I don't understand. Like I try to look at like adaptations. Let's for example, look at The Hobbit, Harry Potter, whatever. You see like the small changes. You're like, okay, that makes sense because you're basically like condensing 4 or 5 chapters to make the pace of the movie run smoother. I'm watching this, and I can't for the life of me. I'm sitting there thinking about it, like trying to give Guillermo the benefit of the doubt, but I can't for the life of me figure out like why was that changed? That makes no sense to me at all. So I don't know if like maybe Guillermo didn't like write it and he's just like the one who made the movie, but I'm struggling, man. I'm struggling with this Frankenstein adaptation.
I had a feeling you might say that because, again, even though you are a big fan of Guillermo del Toro's work, he does go out there, and it doesn't always stay within the framework of what people expect, which is exactly who he is as a filmmaker. He puts out things that you don't normally expect. And Netflix gave him, I don't want to say a blank check, but a very big check in order to try and have his dream realized. And it worked for them with Pinocchio. If you remember that he had the stop motion Pinocchio, while there was the other Pinocchio coming out by Disney right around the same time, and live action Pinocchio, and the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio was much better, the stop animation one.
Yeah.
So Netflix saw the success of that, and obviously let him do what he wanted to explore this world. And again, it's all based on how you see it. Again, a lot of people have viewed it favorably. Some of them go into a little bit about the characters themselves, about how Dr. Frankenstein himself, it shows his backstory about him being, uh, a troubled childhood per se, and that's reflective on how he creates Frankenstein and whatnot. I want to go and see it myself, but I understand why that there's a lot of misconceptions about there. It just does not look. It's going to be big. It's going to do well, but I don't know if it's going to do as well as people hoped or as Netflix hopes, because of just the fact that it just like in what you're saying is it's not hitting home with everyone right now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, why there's people are going to be watching it from two different mindsets, right? People who uh, love the book and people who have never picked up the book in their life, and those ones who don't have a history with Frankenstein are probably gonna enjoy it, right? Because it's visually pleasing, the acting is okay, and it's the movie it's a good looking movie, but from a narrative standpoint, like it does not adapt the book. It kind of takes away everything that like Mary Shelley was trying to say it just borrows the character name. So I mean it could be it'll be good or bad to people. There's not really going to be an in between, but it is the number one movie on Netflix right now, so people are obviously watching it.
For how long? It'll be funny though if in less than 2 weeks, K-pop Demon Hunters passes it
Yeah,
up.
it goes right back to the top.
Yes. I mean, it was number three for a couple weeks. Shock and horror there, Josh, but it moved back up to number two, surprising enough, and is still getting around 10 to 15 million views per week. So if it does drift back over Frankenstein,
Yeah.
what does that say? It says a lot more about Frankenstein than I believe everybody knows already what they know about K-pop Demon Hunters, who, with the Grammy nominations,
Yeah.
congratulations to them getting nominated in several different categories, including Song of the Year.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. Good. Yeah. I mean, they're all over the place. They're really blowing up right now, which is good for them.
Absolutely, indeed. But Frankenstein, if you want to go ahead and share your thoughts with us, it is always greatly appreciated. Please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, we got a great conversation coming up for you today. Already 10 minutes into the show. Looking forward to hearing Josh's thoughts on a ton of subjects. We're going to try and wrangle them through. In fact, I've got TJ Johnson coming up in the multiverse here in a not too distant future. I've got a ton of subjects for him. Josh, this is what happens when you and I and TJ, we can't all get to a schedule, and I have to put other programming on. And big shout out to the Lakers Fast Break and also TJ for doing that special on Xbox, because when the regular topics we're not able to cover on a timely basis, we get a big batch of stuff that we can go ahead and cover. So I'm looking forward to, but none bigger on a pop culture and also financial level than was Rockstar's announcement on its latest shareholder meeting in regards to a delay for GTA 6, now coming November 19th of 2026. So it's moved on from its late spring time frame, I think it was May, if I'm not mistaken, or was it April? I think it was April. I'm sorry, April.
April. I got moved to November or something.
Yes.
Like that.
November 19th, 2026. And in doing so, it has freaked out the video gaming community because of all the games that were supposed to be released, which may not be in the fall of 2026. Your thoughts on the delay of GTA 6? Also, want to go ahead and mention Rockstar is, kind of having their own controversy with trying to do some union busting as well.
Yeah, I've been reading about that. That's some employees got let go, right? And they just happen to be associated with the union, the ones trying
They were trying to talk about it in a forum. 30 to 40 employees at two different Rockstar offices were laid off, I believe, overseas in Europe and in England and Scotland, if I'm not mistaken. But they were let go because they were just talking about unionizing, which, as you know, just talking about unionizing gets you in enough trouble as it is.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I think that they should be represented by some entity, but also it costs so much money to make games that I don't think that especially a studio like Rockstar would be able to afford the financial repercussions of having their employees unionized. So it's a big debate, and it needs to be discussed in safety. Like if this is true that they were laid off because of they're talking about unionizing, there needs to be there needs to be a safe space for employees to talk about that. Like I think a lot of these developers need to be more open to the idea of that. Anyways, yeah, what's funny is this delay has really sent ripples through the video game industry because we had Halo. I mean, a lot of these we don't have solid release dates for yet, but like Halo, what is it? The Campaign Evolved or whatever.
Campaign Evolved, but the anniversary is almost right on the 19th, my friend.
I was gonna say, yeah. So I mean, that would be, could have been a November game. Gears of War E-Day, that could have been a November game. Whatever. Forza Horizon 6 would have been sounds like it could have been a November game. I think that's coming out first or second quarter of 2026. I don't know if they have to worry about that, but there's a lot of games that could have potentially released in 2026, and even like releasing something within a month of the release of Grand Theft Auto seems like not a smart idea. So I feel like instead of having a heavy slate in November, we're going to have a lot of games now coming out in September and early October.
Or they're going to be pushed back to February or March, my friend, as well. That's a possibility. So 2027 spring could be a lot more loaded than what we originally thought.
This is true. So here are my overall thoughts on the GTA delay, right? We originally weren't even supposed to get a GTA 6, right? No, that was something that wasn't even on the table. Fans fans expressed interest in it. The studio was like, okay, well, let's move forward with this, because at this point, like, GTA tells a very exaggerated form of the world, and the current world cannot become any more exaggerated than it already is. So whatever escapism people sought in GTA is now, it's basically like you're playing reality, I guess, is getting to that point. But GTA 6, like, I would much rather have a complete, like, they're delaying it 6 months, and I don't know about you, but I would much rather have a complete experience, a complete and polished experience delivered to me than have them just put something out and then have to keep patching it, 3 or 4 times in the span of a month, but so that we won't get the actual way it was meant to be played until a couple months after it releases. So
or like the original GTA 5 came out, and then at a period of time later, GTA Online came well after that.
Yeah, I would much rather have an experience that was, given time to cool in the oven, as it were, instead of having something like, if we're still not learning lessons, I know we'll talk about Mass Effect later, but if we're still not learning lessons from the lessons of Mass Effect Andromeda, then you have no business running a video game studio, and also you have no business playing video games, because that was an absolute disaster. I don't want to have something just for the sake of playing it. I want to have something and play it and have it be good.
Absolutely. As do I, my friend. As do I. Just absolutely, just very interesting to see what is going to happen in regards to GTA 6 now that it has been delayed. And I'm looking forward to seeing what will happen with all the games around it. So definitely looking forward to hearing your thoughts on that. Guys, what are your thoughts on the GTA 6 delay? Is it something that you're looking forward to even more now that it's been delayed as a much better game? Or are you just wanted to get it over with? You want to get it in your hands as soon as possible? I know they're just going to be much anticipated. The day it comes out is going to be one of the biggest video game release days of all time. And I'm sure to this point, it'll probably be what I would consider it a bigger release day than the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series release dates in 2020. I would consider it the biggest video game release date of this decade, wouldn't you?
I mean, I would definitely say that. Again, that might not be held. That might not be a date that's held with esteem if they push a game out that's not finished. So, if they stick to this release date, right, and they don't end up pushing it into 2027 and the game is awesome, this will very well be a release date that lives in infamy, much like we look back at 2000, what was it, 2000, when did Halo 2 come out? 2007?
No, Halo 3 came out in 2007. Halo 2 came out like 2000.
Oh, sorry, Halo, whatever that, there was your favorite gaming year, what was that?
Oh, 2007.
2007. Yeah.
Best year ever for video games.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, hopefully it's good. Hopefully it comes out and it's complete and polished. I'm absolutely on board for them to have that extra 6 months, because again, I don't want something that's glitchy and performs poorly, and I don't want a bad game like this. GTA's got a big reputation to keep.
Speaking of that same press conference when, oh, by the way, they dropped that bad news on gamers about the delay of GTA 6. I want to hear your thoughts on this, my friend. At the time that they had this meeting, they also announced that Red Dead Redemption 2 had a milestone, and that it is now over 75 million, 79 million copies sold since its debut in 2018. That's RDR2, Red Dead Redemption 2, and that the series as a whole has now sold, I think they would include Revolver, and when they recall, besides Red Dead,
I would say Red Dead Revolver was the first one. That was a OG Xbox game. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, 106 million for the series as to date, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is now the 4th biggest selling game of all time. So 79 million right now is what 80 million essentially is what you need to do to take over 4th place because Minecraft, GTA 5, and Wii Sports, I guess those are the top three. I think that right now it's 350 million, 220 million, and 82.9 million, respectively, which is insane. Wii Sports, I I don't know how you evaluate Wii Sports because what's the attach rate of Wii to Wii Sports on that, but it says essentially 83 million. So your thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 2's crazy sales numbers? I thought it was personally, a big hit, 30, 40, 50 million in sales. But when I heard 79 million closing in on 80, I didn't think that was possible for this game, but apparently it is.
Yeah, it makes sense, man. I mean, this is I think Red Dead is like one of the much like Grand Theft Auto, it's heavily modded and people still go back to it and play it and have fun with it. People in clamoring for a sequel for years for this game. And I think they actually confirmed they were working on a third part to it in one of the interviews when they were talking about Grand Theft Auto. So yeah, I mean it makes sense to me, though it's not really a series that has been on been in the spotlight for a while. But I think now after Grand Theft Auto releases, this is going to be the next thing people are really clamoring for, because honestly, you look at the two properties, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, people are obviously going to want to talk about Grand Theft Auto. But once that's out and they're wondering like, hey, what's Rockstar's next project, they're going to be really looking forward to Red Dead 3.
So among the other video game sales news, I wanted to also report Nintendo also reported sales early on of what the first few months of Nintendo Switch 2 sales has done. And it's been a great hit. In fact, according to the sales number, it is apparently the biggest launch of all time, as far as 10 million sales of the Nintendo Switch 2 sold faster than any other unit in history. And then also as well, on top of that, Mario Kart for the Nintendo Switch 2 has sold about 9.5 million. Well, the attach rate on it is almost 1-to-1 because, most people are selecting the Nintendo Switch 2 with Mario Kart in it. But yeah, the sales for it as well are 9 million in sales for Mario Kart on the Nintendo Switch 2. So your thoughts on this, my friend? It doesn't seem like the biggest launch of all time. I'm just going to say that because nobody makes a big deal about it. There's not a whole ton of games that have come out for it. Doesn't seem to be these massive lines for it. Maybe the holiday season will prove otherwise. How much of that is based in the countries that we're in US, Canada, North America, stuff like that? How much is it more European based? Is it more based out of Asia? I don't know. The numbers are verified by Nintendo that it is the biggest launch of all time. Yet I just don't believe it and don't see it. I don't see the fervor for it. I don't see the massive, okay, I got to have it, let's sell it for $1,000 type deal. I just don't see the clamor from the Nintendo Switch 2 that the numbers dictate.
Okay, I got a few thoughts on this. One, do you remember how long it took for the PlayStation and Xbox to have units actually like stocked in shelves after it came out?
How much?
It was like 6 months, right? It was, the Xbox started to get some in, you go to Walmart and find after like 4 or 5 months, but like it was a long time. And even going online, the bots were eating these things up like crazy. The resale value on the Switch 2, even after all the bots, bought the pre-order copies, it was only like, it got to the point where it was like $20 above retail price. So I was able to secure a Switch 2 weeks after it came out. And, I could go to my local Walmart here and I can find a Switch 2 just sitting on the shelf there. So I think the key to the amount of units that the Switch 2 has sold is just availability. It's there and people can buy it and people will buy it.
I bet it just doesn't seem like it. Do you? I don't see people. It's like Pokemon. Pokemon, they wait outside of Target. You have seen this. You've told me about this firsthand. I've seen the videos. They wait outside of Target. They wait outside of Costco for it to open, and they sprint and get whatever Pokemon they have but I just don't see that clamor for the Nintendo Switch 2. I don't know. I believe it, but it's just so hard for me to believe.
Yeah, no, I understand, especially since the Switch 2 is not anything like okay. I'm gonna admit it, man. I didn't want the Switch 2 at first, but I love the Switch 2 so much more than the Switch 1 now because the screen's bigger. It just feels so much better to hold. Anyways, it yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't see people lining up. You don't see a lot of people talking about it, but I think people, like I said, it's like it's there, and you get this FOMO. Like, well, if I don't buy it now, someone else will. So people are there and they're buying them. Like that's happening. It's not necessarily being like widely advertised to people, but I think a lot more people have these units in their home than we suspect.
I guess so, apparently so. But again, I'd love to see the numbers of how it's fragmented over the course, throughout the world by region. I'd love to know what the actual numbers are. And I know there was a big launch day, and I know that there was a big clamor within those first few days, but it went quiet, Josh. It went quiet. So you'll forgive my reluctance to believe those numbers because the fact that just the Nintendo Switch 2, even the Donkey Kong, when the Donkey Kong Country, when, the world, when it came out, as far as the new Donkey Kong game, okay, people made a big scene about it for a few days, and then it just went quiet. And the Nintendo Switch 2 has gone quiet. I mean, so much news has been made about Xbox, and PlayStation 5 is still, chumming along, churning along, going along.
Yep.
It's so hard for me to believe the Nintendo Switch 2 has achieved this kind of success.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's a very quiet. It's been a very quiet console, I guess. But I also think that like Pokemon ZA probably boosted some sales for it. It's had good games come out so far, like Donkey Kong Bonanza, the new Pokemon, Mario Kart. So I mean, all these games alone make it worth playing. Plus, for me personally, like they're getting ready to discard the old Switches for esports, so I'm gonna have to invest in more Nintendo Switch units. So I mean, like it or not, like we're reaching that point where the Switch 1 games are becoming obsolete as the more and more Switch 2 games are being created.
Again, congratulations to Nintendo on the success. And you said you love your Nintendo Switch 2, so I'm happy for you, my friend. This time you didn't have to buy it for $1,000 on eBay this time.
Right. Got it at market value.
Did you have any trouble getting it?
No, I went on to target.com and I bought 2 of them for my esports program, and I bring one home and I play it at night. Yeah, okay. It's pretty simple. I was able to pick it up and
you understand my skepticism now, don't you?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it's availability. It's there, and they are, they're producing enough consoles to meet the demand. I think what's weird about this is that Nintendo is actually doing things the way that they're meant to be done. Like, everything's happening the way it's supposed to happen. Whereas with the PlayStation and Xbox, we're dealing with like chip shortages and bots going up against bots trying to get the console. Like, there's a lot of things working against the release of those consoles, and they seemed like they were really high in demand, but I think there wasn't a lot of them available.
Well, there it is, guys. The sales numbers for Red Dead Redemption 2 closing in on 80 million, now the 4th largest selling video game of all time. And then also as well, the great start, unprecedented start for Nintendo Switch 2, and also as well, Mario Kart World for the Nintendo Switch 2. 10 million, over 10 million already sold within the first few months. And then also as well, Mario Kart World, almost 9.5 million itself. So I'll tell you what, hey, congratulations to Nintendo. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it. It doesn't feel like it. The fervor just hasn't, been sustainable for it. The excitement level, maybe because again, it goes back to the days where Josh and I remember the days of the Wii, when people were calling my store every hour on the hour to see if we had Wiis. Several months in, a year into the Wii, they were still calling, begging for a Wii, and we would only get 2-3 Wiis in. So maybe Nintendo not controlling the demand, like they did in previous console generations, has a lot to do with it. So, what are your thoughts out there on Nintendo achieving this kind of success and Rockstar achieving this kind of success with, of course, Red Dead Redemption 2, Nintendo Switch 2 for Nintendo, and then also the delay for GTA 6? Please let us know your thoughts. PopCultureCosmos at yahoo.com. Well, 1/2 hour now, 1/2 hour to go here on a very busy, topical Pop Culture Cosmos. Also, don't forget TJ Johnson and I on the PCC Multiverse. Looking forward to when I get the chance to talk to him about a ton more topics as well. My gosh, there was so much I couldn't fit it all in one episode. But Josh, Stranger Things 5 showed its first 5 minutes for its upcoming fragmented final season. It's going to be shown in 3 parts. Talked about being in movie theaters. They just had the Stranger Things premiere. I don't want to go ahead and elaborate about what's gone on behind the scenes and allegations going on the scenes. And I know that there's a certain individual star that's had a very bad month, a lot of bad press, but actually got a little bit of a reprieve at this event. As far as it's concerned.
You think they're
What?
pulling? You think they're pulling the wool over our eyes for publicity's sake, or you think it's?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have those kind of allegations, and that's what. Again, we don't want to go ahead too much into detail over it, but I will just say
research
this.
it yourselves. You know, it's not our thing.
Yeah, not our thing to go ahead into that. But Stranger Things 5 showed off its first 5 minutes. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, my friend, but it basically goes into a little bit of what happened right around the end of season 1, I believe, with Will, the character Will, who, if you've watched the trailers, know that he is going to be a very key part of the equation in Stranger Things 5. He gets captured in the upside down world and is eventually caught. And if you see it, he is given something, ingested something, or like the reverse of what we saw in Starship Trooper, just like something right into his mouth and just fed some type of stuff into him. What are your thoughts on this in regards to what you saw with as far as the sneak peek? Again, the graphics on it, or the Uncanny Valley, the special effects work great with the, and that's where we're at. A man in his 20s, a young man in his 20s now has to get like the retro face. They put it on a younger actor as far as what he looked like many years ago. That's what happens when you film Stranger Things over the course of 5 seasons in 10 years, as opposed to doing it, seemingly when they should have. But your thoughts, my friend, on the first 5 minutes of Stranger Things 5 as we get closer to the premiere of the final season of Stranger Things?
Do you think like every season they write, they sit around and the first first thing on the agenda is all right, guys, how are we gonna get Will captured and rescued this season? Because that seems to be like the theme every season. Oh, Will's in trouble again. What are we gonna do? I have not watched the clip or whatever. I've seen the stills of it. I don't know what to think, man. I poor Will has been through the ringer. I think they need to just leave him alone. But one of the they said that none of the character there are going to be some characters that don't make it through, and I have a feeling that one of said characters is going to be Will.
Well, if in the trailers, not the 5-minute one that they showed, the first 5 minutes of season 5, but the trailers before that they showed off, it shows Vecna coming face to face with a much older Will, the Will in present day Stranger Things season 5. And I'll just say this: it, like you said, I would, betting man, kind of looks like it's not really that great. But he says the words. Vecna says the words, "You're going to help me one last time." Yep. So, if that's the case, what was the stuff do you think that Vecna was putting into him in this little flashback, which is from whenever late after end of season 1? what do you think was put into him that supposedly helps Vecna overall, or helped Vecna overall at that time?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's some sort of parasites. Will has had his fair share of parasites inside of him. Maybe it's something that allows Vecna to burrow into Will's mind and dig into his memories. Maybe there's some the Will something that happened to Will in the past is the key to Vecna's future. It's hard to say, man. I mean, obviously that is going to have like a psychological aspect. It's going to get into Will's head or control Will or something like that, because otherwise there's not really, what else is it supposed to do at this point?
Exactly. So be very interesting to see how this is incorporated. Again, I'm not in love with the 3-part, over 3 part, but I understand why they're doing it, because is that not 3 billing cycles that they're doing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's why they do it. So I'll just say this again. It's something I'm looking forward to. Stranger Things season 5. What is going to go on? How's it going to be all connected to each other? The Duffer Brothers, I understand that they've got their out plan. And I understand Netflix is putting up a whole other side stories and backstories and other stuff for down the road as far as what they've already got planned, including an animated series, live action stuff based in the Stranger Things universe, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to bleed that sucker dry. Even though the Duffer Brothers, they took the money and ran to Paramount and won't be a part of it. Well, actually, they'll just be overseeing it like an executive producer, but they're no longer a creative part of it, I should say. It's going to be interesting. So if this is going to be if the Duffer Brothers put the time and attention to it after such a long wait, if they actually did go ahead and really did something good with this, or did they Game of Thrones it? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, yep. Nobody wants a repeat of Game of Thrones, man.
Certainly not you and I.
Yeah, yep. It's funny because I was reading that Dan Trachtenberg, that directed Predator Badlands, he was supposed to direct an episode of Stranger Things season 5, and then he ended up doing Predator. Was the animated Predator,
Killer of Killers?
Yeah, and that project ended up going through, so he couldn't. He just had too many things he's doing at once, so he. Instead, in order to make up for it with the Duffer Brothers, because he wanted to still be on good terms with them, he asked them to do voices in Predator, Killer of Killers, or Hunter of Hunters.
Okay.
I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, I mean, so I guess neat little crossover references there.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to. I mean, you were leading into that. I'm like, ooh, I didn't know that. Did they say exactly which characters they played, or?
Who were the Duffer Brothers in?
I'm just asking, So but yeah, it's something I'd.
Never mind. They're not in the animated ones. They're in Badlands actually. So they're
in Badlands. Okay.
Yeah, they're the voice of the computer system.
Ah, okay. So Predator Badlands. And speaking of Predator Badlands, I'm unintentional segue into Predator Badlands, which it debuted this past weekend. It's gonna earn about looks like $30 to $35 million in North America. Gonna be probably under probably around 75 million, maybe overall, maybe even less than that worldwide for its debut. Okay, not great. Not carrying the box office, heavy lifting box office per se. Even though you and I had another issue with Box Office Mojo today when talking about as far as Demon Slayer is concerned. I don't know about this Demon Slayer thing. I don't know what to do, man. You and I are having issues with it because they keep on fudging the numbers. It goes back and forth and back and forth.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, it's now back down to 245,591 million. So it's gone from 500s to the 700s, back down to the 500s, back up to the 600s millions, by the way. That back down now to 591. So I don't know if that what's going on. I don't know what to make out of it, but again, your guess is as good as mine. But getting back to Predator Badlands, what are your thoughts? Because this is a world I have mixed feelings on. I've seen the good of Predator. Predator 1, Predator 2 was the first one of the first movies to come out with Dolby Surround. And I've told you that story on the air here about my experience being in a theater for the first time with Dolby Surround, thinking it was the most awesome thing ever. The movie itself, it's okay. But Predators for me has been something of a not great opportunity. I've actually seen a couple more of the Predators offerings and not been really enthused by them. Your thoughts, because the Alien world and the Predators world are more your thing, my friend. What are your thoughts on Predator Badlands?
Okay, I got a few actually. So I went back and watched. I've been refreshing myself on Predator because it's been so long since I've like indulged in that universe. Predator 1 still holds up pretty well, even though it's so old. Predator 2, from a modern perspective, is like it's almost unwatchable, man. It's definitely a product of its time, and it's a movie that's got so many like racial undertones that you definitely would not be able to make that same movie today for sure. But yeah, so okay, so what's the one with Adrian Brody? That's the Predators, I think it's called.
Oh, that's the worst of them all, man. I had my car getting fixed, and I walked up the street here in Las Vegas to, at that time was a dollar movie theater. I watched that film, and I think paying $1, I think I got ripped off.
Yeah, I don't remember much of it. I mean, I
remember all these guys were stuck on a planet, made a lot of jokes that were lame, all got tripped up by the Predator, and there you go.
Yeah. So I remembered specifically not enjoying the one that came before Prey. I think that was with all the like the army is like chasing the special, and the guy makes
and they captured the Predator and all that, and the Predator escaped, and that wasn't good either.
Did not like that one. But everything ever since Predator was purchased by Disney, everything that from that moment forward, like Prey and Hunter or Killer of Killers, and hopefully this one. So I've heard that Predator Badlands is really good. I've read a lot of great reviews.
Well, it's being overseen by the same person. This whole
So I think and there's connectivity there, right? We have, he has been fleshing it out. So ever since it was taken over by Disney, I think they're actually injecting story into these movies. And same thing with the Alien franchise, right? We're seeing story. We're getting story over gore and shock, gore and violence. Like that was the main focus when it was at Fox, and now they're telling stories. And I think that it's much better. The keys to these franchises are much better when they're put in the hands of Disney. And I could be, a couple entries down the line, I could be eating my shoe. But we have this movie like Badlands we have people like really negative film critics saying that it's a good movie. So there must be something there that is of substance. We're getting the protagonist is the Predator this time. Like that's something that's never been done before, because you can only do the same movie so many times, right? You can only have a Predator hunting people so many times before you're like, why are we watching this still? And that was the problem with when we talked about Alien Covenant. We went right back to the formula of like Alien chases people around spaceship, like you can only do that movie so many times before people get tired of it. So I think it's a good thing we have Predator Badlands kind of shaking up the formula. But I did learn a couple things over the weekend. Like one, the android is a nod to, not a nod, but the android is made by Weyland Yutani.
Yutani, yes.
Yeah. And also Dan Trachtenberg has said that the Alien, Predator, and Independence Day all exist in the same universe.
Okay, that's a hard one to go ahead and connect all together.
Because they have, I guess in the Predator's like trophy, whatever, there's a skull of the Harvester alien from Independence Day, and he went on record to say that yes, these all take place in the same universe.
Okay.
Interesting. I know, man. I know it's interesting, but yeah. So I and I feel like we're heading towards another Alien versus Predator scenario here, but they with those other two Alien versus Predator movies, they're so bad and they mangled the timeline. So it's gonna be really interesting to see like how they repair all that.
You can say that again, my friend, but I'll just well, what I'm going to say is that with Predator Badlands, again, the reviews are mostly positive, which is a good thing, and this seems to be a better step for the Predator franchise. But I think it has to lead up to a Predator versus Alien. And even though, from what I'm told and what I've seen on the non-spoilers, is that there's not much led to outside of the I guess Ellie Fanning, her character is from Weyland Yutani, but there's no they don't try to push a Alien versus Predator thing yet. It's like, that's for down the line. I think that's what they need to do a little bit sooner, my friend, because I don't know how many more. Alien seems to be on a much better start to me, even though Predator Killers was really good. I don't know how much fire will still be left for Predator if they continue to go back to it without including the alien part of it.
Yeah, well, it's gonna need to be a high stakes movie. Like, there's gonna have to be a lot at stake. So not just things hunting things. It's gonna have to be like, world ending catastrophe if so and so if such and such doesn't happen. It's gonna have to be a big consequences.
Absolutely. Big consequences indeed. But if you have thoughts on Predator Badlands, please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. My friend, before we head on out, a couple other notes. Plus, your MCU timeline is continued. We haven't forgotten, so we're still continuing the MCU timeline, which will lead into next year's Avengers Doomsday, and that might be affected by GTA 6. I'll just leave it right there for you. But my friend, let's talk about The Witcher season 4. We talked earlier about Stranger Things 5 on Netflix, but you said you saw The Witcher season 4. There's a Hemsworth involved. It's not Chris, it's Liam. But let us know how it's gone. Henry Cavill's gone. I mean, can you still get into The Witcher for the final 2 seasons of the Witcher series?
Yeah, I think so. They're gonna be. What am I trying to say? So I have a few thoughts on this. Like, one, it took a couple episodes to get used to Liam in the role of The Witcher. Also, like, as much as I loved Henry Cavill as The Witcher, like it was very stale. Like, you only got one tone from Henry Cavill, and that was that gruffy voice he did. So with Liam in the role, like, it was jolting to see the character actually express emotion. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, it wasn't. He had some big shoes to fill, but I think he filled them pretty well. And I think had the series started out with Liam as Geralt of Rivia, it would have made a lot more. He would have filled the role just fine. In the beginning, I don't know if you've watched any of the season yet, but in the beginning, they do a good job of, like, I guess, getting you used to him by having a storyteller go back and recap some of the things that have happened throughout the season. But those scenes are, instead of having Henry Cavill in the scenes, have Liam in the role of Geralt during some of the things that happened in previous seasons. So I think that was clever. For Ciri storyline, I was not too fond of. She was, like, very whiny this season, and I don't the storyline revolving around the rats, so I wasn't too interested in. And then the season ended on a cliffhanger, so we don't really know. We'll have to wait. I guess season 5 actually just finished filming, so I'm expecting we'll see that sometime next year. But yeah, I mean, it's the Witcher, and Yennefer's storyline actually was pretty cool. But The Witcher stopped following the books after halfway through the last season, so they kind of veered off course. So I don't expect to see the books adapted 100% faithfully from this point forward. But I think that season 5 is going to be the swan song for this iteration of The Witcher. So, yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. The Witcher suffers an identity crisis, right? Do they want to adapt the books? Do they want to be Game of Thrones, or do they want to be something else entirely? And I think they still haven't quite figured that out yet.
Well, we'll see. Again, the fact that you're not, totally destroying it, and that you actually have some positivity about it, goes well without saying that people may want to give it a try. So if you have thoughts out there on The Witcher season 4, please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Last couple things before we head on out. Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair, got a trailer. So your thoughts on this, my friend, because the envisioning, maybe I'm assuming it was the original envisioning of Quentin Tarantino and doing this as far as piecing Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2. It obviously was too long at that point in time to mass market it into one format. But all these years later, my friend, he's actually put them all together, put a never before seen anime, a few minute sequence in there. He took out a key sequence or a key mentioning in Kill Bill Volume 1, so that if you've never seen Kill Bill, you'll actually be surprised when the main character is in Kill Bill Volume 2. It is going to be 4 hours long plus, but it is the complete vision of Kill Bill. Your thoughts on Uma Thurman coming back to the screens in Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair in its complete form?
Okay, so I liked those movies. I guess I still would if I watched them. I think it's cool that he's getting a chance to tell the story like in a complete way. The way probably I imagine there's some sort of like director's cut action going on here too. But I'm not. It's not something I'm gonna run to the movie theaters to watch. Like when it hits, if it comes out on a streaming platform or I can purchase it physically, I'll probably watch it. But I mean, I don't have time to go to the movie theaters for 4 hours. So had this come out back in the day, I definitely would have been excited about it. But it's like, all right, well, it's not for me at this point in my life. But are you gonna go see it?
Not in the theaters. I at this point, if I'm going to sit through a 4.5 hour film of 2 films I saw, actually, my wife and I have very good memories of seeing it because that's one of the first movies that we saw together outside the Lord of the Rings. I will just say again that if it comes to a streaming format, I will definitely see it. I will go out of my way to see it most likely, but I will probably not see it in the theaters. For me, 4.5 hours, if it's not something fresh and new, like Christopher Nolan, if he comes out with the Odyssey next year and it's 4.5 hours, I'm probably gonna see it because it's something I haven't seen before. Yeah. But for Kill Bill, as much as I like it, as much as I enjoy both 1 and 2, as much as hard it is for me to say which one is better, 1 or 2. And as much as I'm glad to see that he's combined both, I'd rather probably sit with that movie in the luxury of my own home.
Yeah, exactly. It was the same thing for the Snyder cut of the Justice League, right? Like in theory, it would have been cool to watch in the movie theaters, but I don't think I would have watched it in the movie theaters if given the chance to do it.
Yeah, so
because 4 hours is a long time. But
so what are you? Well, go ahead.
Say, like I'm stoked that this is happening though. Like they don't make movies like they used to, and I'm anytime that like younger audiences are getting exposed to like what the types of films that like made the 2000s such a great era for films, like I'm on 100% on board for it.
So what are your thoughts out there on the whole bloody affair, the actual combining of Kill Bill 1 and 2, footage put back into the film that wasn't previously shown, to the public, and then also as well a key sequence taken out of volume 1, so it leaves you a surprise to new viewers for volume 2. Your thoughts on the whole bloody affair for Kill Bill? popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. But before we head on out, we extend our MCU timeline, my friend, and we come on. Okay, we've got through a lot of stinkers. Got through a lot of stinkers in the early period of this century. You put me through a lot of stinkers. But we now get to one of the best superhero movies considered of all time in Spider-Man 2. Your thoughts, my friend, on Spider-Man 2 and how that revolutionized the superhero genre.
Okay, before we step into Spider-Man 2, I just want to look back and tell you that, man, those early superhero films, like as terrible as a lot of them were, they had some pretty great soundtracks. Like, do you remember some of those? You had was that's the original Spider-Man had the song with Nickelback and Saliva singing together, and then you had Amy Lee and of Evanescence with the guy from 12 Stones. Like there's some bangers on a lot of those soundtracks. I was thinking about that this morning, and there's because Finger 11 just released a new album. Like, oh, I remember them on like literally every superhero soundtrack that came out in the 2000s.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. Bands don't clamor to go on soundtracks anymore, do they?
No, that was a 90s and 2000s thing. Doesn't seem to happen anymore. All right, Spider-Man 2, like it's just a great movie all around. Like all the things that the Spider-Man had to tell the origin story, so it got really slow in parts. But like this, we knew who Spider-Man was at this point, and his struggle was being outlined, trying to balance work and school and being in love and all the other responsibilities. And it was just like it was a movie, like it covered every spectrum of the human emotion, and the action was cool. It was really well filmed. Like was Alfred Molina, did I say his last name right?
Yes, Alfred Molina. Yes,
Molina. Like he was just an amazing Doc Ock. Everything about this movie is great. Like I literally have zero bad things to say about this movie, and I'm glad we're doing this because any excuse I get to go back and watch that one again, I will happily take. It was just it's a great movie. I don't have any negative things to say about it.
And then followed right thereafter by the Batman movies with Christopher Nolan making those films. Yeah, I was absolutely it was a good time, that period. After we got through the Daredevil, Elektra, or some of the X-Men.
Did you just throw up in your mouth a little bit?
What?
I said, did you just throw up in your mouth a little bit when you said
yeah, exactly. I should have said that. But X-Men, X-Men 2, much better. And then you got into Spider-Man 2, and then you got into the Batman movies, and then things got a little bit better after that. And of course, and the Hulk movie, the original Hulk movie, you could take it or leave it on that. But again, Spider-Man 2, I think, really up the level of quality for superhero films, and I'm very grateful for it. I mean, Blade was a really good movie, but in its own context, but it really didn't get leveled up until Spider-Man 2, X-Men 2, and then also as well the Batman movies really laid the groundwork for what quality superhero films could be.
Yeah, I think that Spider-Man 2 is the point where people started paying attention to what was going on in the superhero scene. Like I would even go as far to say that Spider-Man 2 probably opened the conversation for a studio like the who owned the Iron Man property? Paramount.
Universal. Oh, Paramount.
Paramount. Yeah, I would go as far to say that the Spider-Man 2 probably got the conversation started that eventually led to Iron Man, because it was a top-notch superhero movie, and some of you probably watch and be like, oh, so this is what something like this could be.
So where are we headed to next on the MCU timeline, my friend?
Blade Trinity. That's it. The last stop for Blade until Deadpool.
Oh, back to Guillermo del Toro, indeed, my friend.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds, man, Jessica Biel.
Oh, I would actually the more interesting story was behind the scenes.
yeah.
In front of the camera, and I'll leave it at that.
Oh yeah.
So for Josh the Great Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Cosmos.